Welcome to this week's Supply Chain Update, brought to you by Phoenix International. As we step into 2025, here's what's happening across the major trade lanes. Starting with Trans-Pacific eastbound trade lane, the upcoming Lunar New Year has led to a general rate increase being implemented by carriers since January 1st. While peak season surcharges remain unchanged, we're seeing carriers like Maersk and ONE cancel disruption charges following the tentative ILA labor agreement. On the Far East westbound trade lane, factory closures during Lunar New Year in weeks 3 and 4 are slightly reducing market demand. Freight rates remain stable between $4,800 and $5,000 per few, but the short production window between Christmas and Lunar New Year has kept shipment surges minimal. For transatlantic westbound, many disruption surcharges are now being lifted due to the tentative labor resolution. Blank sailings are expected to continue through January, but new services are set to launch in February, balancing capacity for the months ahead. Now let's talk operations. Equipment availability for Trans-Pacific eastbound remains stable, but we anticipate increased pressure on trucking and containers as Lunar New Year approaches. On the Far East westbound, carriers are introducing rolling pools to manage space during this peak period. To avoid delays, flexibility with cargo-ready dates and estimated time of departure is highly recommended. The transatlantic westbound market remains stable, with no significant equipment issues reported. In terms of capacity management, space on the Trans-Pacific eastbound remains tight, especially for West Coast routes. Blank sailings are planned for Lunar New Year to manage demand. Meanwhile, carriers on the Far East westbound are focusing on profitable utilization with service upgrades continuing into February. Moving on to the news of this week, the ILA and USMX reached a preliminary 6-year labor agreement, averting a January 15th port strike. The deal protects jobs, promotes modernization, and resolves automation disputes by guaranteeing alternative positions. ILA President Harold Daggett credited President-elect Donald Trump for his support, ensuring stability for U.S. ports and avoiding disruption just before Trump's inauguration. COSCO Shipping refuted its inclusion in the U.S.-Chinese military companies list, asserting compliance with international laws and no impact on its operations. China's Ministry of Commerce condemned the U.S. for violating WTO rules and undermining global trade stability, urging the U.S. to cease unjust actions and pledging to safeguard Chinese enterprises' rights through appropriate measures. The Trans-Pacific shipping market is shifting in 2025, with MSC's independence and new alliances reshaping competition. OA leads with 40% capacity, followed by PA and GCA. Regionally, MSCC dominates the Southwest. ONE leads in the Northwest, CMA ranks first on the East Coast, and MSK tops the Gulf. Independent carriers and MSC's flexibility highlight the evolving dynamics, requiring shippers to adjust strategies. The 2025 container shipping market sees new alliances intensifying competition, with Maersk and MC igniting a price war on the Asia-Europe route. Aggressive pricing strategies aim to secure market share, while core carriers like Maersk and Hapag-Lloyd focus on long-term contracts and full capacity. MSC collaborates with partners to attract customers, highlighting a transformative era in the industry. And that concludes our update on the global supply chain. Thank you for joining us. We will continue to monitor these developments and keep you informed. You can follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube for more supply chain related updates.